My parents used my college fund to pay for my stepsister's wedding. Now they're asking me to take out student loans so she can have a fresh start at 11. My grandparents started a college fund for me. Every birthday, every Christmas, they'd proudly tell me about their latest deposit. For your future, they'd say, because you are going to do great things. By the time I turned 18, they had saved nearly $30,000 panter, not enough for a full ride, but enough to keep me from drowning in debt. 3 months before my high school graduation, they both died in a car accident. What I didn't know then, my parents became trustees of that money. My stepsister Olivia, part 2 years older, and my father's absolute favorite since he married her mother Pert, had dropped out of college twice and was working at a boutique making just above minimum wage. When she got engaged to a guy she'd known for 6 months, he was from a good family, which somehow justified her extravagant taste. 2 weeks before my graduation, I asked about accessing my college fund for the deposit on my dorm room. My mother's face did that thing where she's trying to form words but nothing comes out. My father cleared his throat and explained they had temporarily relocated some of my funds. How much? I asked. About $25,000, my father replied without meeting my eyes. Olivia needed it for her wedding. The venue alone was $15,000, and you can't have a cheap dress with a venue like that. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. That's almost everything, Grandma and Hesso would have wanted the family to be happy, my father said, as if they hadn't specifically designated that money for my education. You'll pay you back, my mother promised, patting my hand. Olivia's going to start a family soon, and then everything will settle down. I worked 2 jobs that summer and applied for every scholarship I could find. I got into a state school with partial financial aid and moved into a tiny off-campus apartment with 3 roommates instead of the dorm I'd planned on. Olivia's wedding was a spectacle paired in ice sculptures, 5-tier cake designer gown. During her father-daughter dance, my dad whispered something in her ear that made her laugh, and I realized I couldn't remember the last time he'd made me laugh like that. 8 months later, she moved back home where my parents converted my old bedroom into her healing space before I even came home for summer break. Yesterday, my father called. Olivia is finalizing her divorce and wants to reinvent herself by going back to college. Her 3rd attempt, we were thinking, he said cautiously. Since you are managing so well with your jobs and partial scholarships, maybe you could take out some student loans, just so we can help Olivia get a fresh start. It would only be fair since we helped you with college too. I laughed. Actually laughed before I could stop myself. What's funny? He asked, sounding genuinely confused. You didn't help me with college, I said quietly. You took my help away. He started explaining how family needs to support each other in hard times, how Olivia has really matured since her marriage fell apart, how I've always been the responsible one who can handle adversity. I let him finish before saying, "Number, my answer is no." Then I hung up. This morning my mother texted that I am being selfish and ungrateful for all they've done for me. I am still trying to figure out what exactly that was. Sometimes the deepest cuts come from the people who should be your fiercest protectors, but I am learning that family is just a word until it's backed up by actions, and some debts can never be repaid with money.